This is the new era. This is the new band, and we're unbreakable.
We can rebuild him. We have the technology. We can make him better than he was. Better, stronger, faster. Actually, better, stronger, faster.
Is that a line from Starship Troopers or something?
No, it's actually the $1 Million Man.
$6 Million Man. I know that, and
I don't even know what that is.
We Brits don't do excitement, so this is the best you're going to get.
Chris is bringing the noise today, apparently.
Speaking of vanilla...
It's just, I don't understand why.
I don't think anyone does. I don't think Travis Green understands.
Talking you through every goalie controversy, scoring slump, and draft lottery bust. This is the C4 Podcast on CanucksHockeyBlog.com and CKNW.com. Here they are, the best starting lineup to never wear a C, Chris, Anna, Matt, and Adam.
Welcome to another episode of the C4 Canucks Hockey Podcast, as heard on CanucksHockeyBlog.com and Overtime Media. I am Chris, the guy who talks too much at Light Force, joined in the big hot box by Adam Ovenel Carter at Adam FOC, and the birthday girl, Anna Forsyth at A4Say03. That is right. Today is her birthday.
And I'm still here.
And you are here. Like, first of all, like, we need to give her some applause here.
It's going to be a long show, yeah.
Well, okay, how hammered can she be when she was buying her own beer on her
isn't
birthday?
that sad? By myself?
By herself, yeah. That's a rough birthday.
Yeah, no kidding. Like, we were asking before we actually started up here, why were you on your own? Like, why not invite one of us?
Well, it was right after work, before the podcast. I didn't think I'd get out of work as early as I did. And by earlier, I mean half an hour after I'm supposed to finish, but that's early. So I just had a bit of time to kill, so I bought my own beer. But I am going out for a beer after this as well. So
okay. Well,
I'm about to get hammered.
If you had said, hey, Chris, I'm off work, do you want to grab a beer? I would have said
with 5
yes.
minutes notice, you would have come?
Well, I was downtown. Were you downtown?
Well, I ended up at downtown, yeah.
Well, yeah, see, we could have made this work. I mean, Adam, he's too busy and influencing the mind of children to come out to your birthday.
And that's just as sinister as it sounds.
Yeah. So, and got some feedback from some of his students. Apparently, I talk too much.
Yeah, can I tell the whole story of my weekend?
The fact that
do.
I talk too much was your whole weekend?
Well, no, but I'll get to that. It all comes around full circle. So, as you listeners know, I was down in the States for an ultimate Frisbee tournament with my students. Finished 7th out of 16, so a lot better than I expected. Not bad, not bad. Anyway, we'd wrapped up the first day, and we're just eating some pizza, hanging out on the field, and this guy comes up to me and says, "Are you Adam?" And I go, "Yeah." And he says, "I don't know who you are, or I know who you are, but you don't know who I am." I'm like, "Okay, I don't know what's going on here." He's like, "I'm Peter. I listen to the podcast," and it ended up being Killer Sushi. And so it was super cool to. I don't know if that's happened to you guys yet, but
Recognized.
Yeah, you said you recognized me from the Patriots hat, so whatever helps, I guess. But no, it's really cool to meet and chat for a little bit. I should have got a photo. That was really dumb of me. I'm sorry, Peter. Anyway, he was talking about the podcast, obviously, and the kids heard, and then they all wanted to download it. And when we got back to the hotel, they did, started listening, and said, "You talk too much, Chris. I want to hear more of me." Well, my silky, sultry voice.
The only way that will happen, though, is if your students leave reviews. 5 out of 5 star reviews that say, please.
Downloads aren't enough, eh?
Yeah, downloads are not enough. Downloads help. Reviews, though, that's like next level stuff.
5 out of 5 stars, and you could say, Chris sucks, he talks too much.
Yeah. And I will read that verbatim. We've already proven this. Reviews left are read verbatim. Speaking of which, it's been a while since we've had a review. I think we need a review.
Yeah.
Well, I think let's not do it today. Let's push for some reviews here.
Yeah.
Leave some reviews, and we'll read them. We'll read them next show.
Cool. Well, guess what I did? I actually put together a rundown for us.
You did.
I know,
impressed.
and I it felt dirty doing that. Like, Matt's not here, and quite frankly, this should be like the whatever the hell we want to talk about show, which it might still be.
That was last week.
But, for those who are keeping track, Matt Lee at _61, he's still scouting for the Canucks in Japan.
He's in Tokyo right now in a place called Pallet Town.
Town.
For any Pokemon fans, you might recognize that as the hometown of one Ash Ketchum.
Oh.
Gotta catch them all.
Yeah.
Oh.
I actually had a conversation about Pokemon Go today.
Really?
Yeah. I didn't think I would do that on my birthday, but it happened.
Like, how does Pokemon Go come up into conversation with Anna Forsyth?
One of my bosses took me to lunch today, which was lovely of her. and her kids still play it, and it's like apparently there are like hot spots. That's not what it's called, but I don't know what it is. Like around their relatives, so they kind of use it to go visit their relatives.
Interesting. Well, I know, like, when Pokemon Go first came out, like, it would cause traffic jams. Like, there was, in Richmond, where I live, so Dyke Road, South Richmond, 5 Road, there's, like, a park out that way, and ultimately it's just a shortcut that locals take to avoid traffic. The city of Richmond had to block the street so people didn't actually park, but that didn't stop people from getting out of their cars and wandering around. Because apparently, like, some rare Pokemon were, like, I don't know, spawning there. People don't show up anymore, so those rare Pokemon
Spawning,
must have
is that
moved.
the correct term?
I don't know. I don't play Pokemon Go. Never did.
Okay.
Anyhow, this is a Canucks hockey podcast, so we should probably talk about
not a Pokemon.
hockey and or Canucks. As far as this episode is concerned, however, we are going to talk a little bit about some Canucks news. There's news about Goldobin. There's news about Demko. There's news about Troy from Richmond. There's news about former Canuck Hansen.
Yeah, some of this isn't news anymore.
Well, no,
we just haven't talked about it.
Yeah, exactly. And so we're going to talk all about that. There's playoff hockey that's still happening. The second round is in full swing. And yeah, you know what? If, patrons start dropping hints in chat about what else we should talk about, Matt's not here, so everything is fair game. Okay, second round. Hot swing. Now, when I did the rundown earlier today, I didn't actually look to see if anyone had played and game would be finished. I saw that it was 1-1 for, I think it was, Dallas St. Louis?
St. Louis are now up 2-1.
Okay, well, that series is tied 1-1. It seems to be going back and forth. St. Louis up 2-1 late in the second, third?
End of the second, yeah.
End of second, okay.
I mean, big shrug.
Exactly, right?
This whole second round is a bit of a shrug from me.
Really?
I've said it before, but I can never care about any of those central teams, the Stars, Blues, Predators, any of them. Carolina and Islanders, who cares? That's like a team. I think we talked about it last week. It's a team on Monday night that you just, maybe is a friend, but Monday night or Tuesday night that you just don't watch, right? It's like on the NHL Network and you just don't care to watch it, right?
I mean, like, Eastern teams, they have to be entertaining for me to, like, make the effort,
I feel like
right?
the East has a lot of entertaining teams.
They
The most
do.
entertaining teams. But the Boston one with Columbus is fun and entertaining. A lot of, good story in Columbus, and we all hate the Bruins. The Avalanche Sharks series, that one I'm fully invested in.
And that's tied 1-1 as well.
Yes.
Actually, also to the previous series, Boston and CBJ.
Oh, CBJ.
Yeah, they're 1-1 as well. So I was watching a little bit of the Colorado Sharks game, and when I did watch it, it seemed to me the Sharks were by far the better team. So I'm actually surprised the series is tied 1-1.
Yeah, I missed the first game. I think we were heading down to the States or something. But they're just a great team and they're deep. But I think Colorado has the most exciting player left in the playoffs in Nathan MacKinnon. Mm-hmm. So I'm Team Colorado right now.
Oh. I don't know if I have a team. I just like them to watch both of those teams play hockey.
Yeah, that's fair.
So, yeah, like, they're probably my two favorite teams left in the playoffs, and rest teams I either don't care or don't like.
Yeah, so I was actually giving this some thought. Like, do I really care about any of the teams that are left? I am, to what you had pointed out, I'm paying more attention to the East. I want to see both Columbus and Carolina win just for, S's and G's. But hey, this is a G-rated podcast. I don't want to check that little check mark. But in the West, I don't know. Like, sure, you're right. San Jose, good story. They're not going to, seriously, they're going to win a Stanley Cup? No, they're San Jose. Like, this is the epitome of their existence is to somehow fall apart in the playoffs. Avalanche, okay, fine.
Yeah.
Blues, Stars, you're right.
Yeah, I don't particularly like Colorado for any other reason that they're just fun to watch.
It is interesting just because there's so many new teams. And, for so long it's been Washington, Pittsburgh, Chicago, LA even. But now there's just completely brand new teams and we just don't have emotions attached to those teams, I don't think. So there's a lot less emotional investment or drama.
Sure. If you're the NHL, though, and you're looking at the second round right now, are you happy with what teams you have left, or are you just disappointed
No,
that the
not at
compelling
all.
storylines that occurred in the first round are gone? Like, where's the next compelling storyline?
The first round was amazing for the NHL and got a lot of eyes, I think. But what resulted is this, where there's just less intrigue.
Toronto gone. Then there's no Canadian teams.
Yeah.
Well, that guts ratings. The playoff money that you would get out of advertising revenue in the playoffs, that's pretty much done. Canada starts tuning out real quick.
When the Raptors are still around, right?
Yeah.
So,
Washington is gone. Knights are gone, and Pittsburgh are gone. So it's like the big teams you'd.
Well, and you think about like
Catch
TV
it on.
markets. I mean, conceivably, Boston may not make it out of the second round. If the Islanders get eliminated right there, boom, boom, two big Eastern markets, done. And you have Columbus and Carolina, neither of which I think are screaming, oh my God, huge fan base, going to light the party up. Out west, you know what? Dallas and San Jose are decent-sized markets. I think the NHL would be happy with those teams continuing on. St. Louis, with respect to St. Louis, I don't know if they would really care.
Are they a sports town? Do they
St. Louis?
Yeah, is it Cardinals or is it?
Yeah, well, they had
what's the other
the
team?
Rams,
Back in the day.
but
right.
they're gone now. So,
Do they watch baseball? Is that a thing?
yeah,
The Cards
St. Louis
haven't
Cardinals
been-
fans are like, I'm trying to think of an equivalent. Almost like Patriots fans. Like, they're just obnoxious and
Yeah, that checks
conceited.
out.
Yeah, thanks, Anna. But no, they are just kind of that holier than thou kind
Okay.
kind of team.
And I guess like the Blues have the ability to sort of capture that market, but does that market carry the NHL? Like ideally, the NHL wants California and the Eastern Seaboard.
Oh yeah,
Right? That's what they want. They want the TV markets. And, it's nice to have Texas, but really, no one in Texas really cares about hockey. Like, especially like right now with baseball in full swing. NFL draft just took place.
Yeah.
Like, there's just so
the
many
Rockets are
distractions.
still
Yeah.
are playing the
Yeah.
Warriors, right? So
Though Dirk Nowitzki keeps turning up to the Dallas game, to the Stars game, so I'm sure they like
that's
that.
pretty cool.
Yeah, he was just on TV when I was watching it. Really kind of nerdy, like Dallas Stars 2019 playoffs T-shirt. I mean, if anyone can pull it off, maybe it's another professional athlete, but it was pretty dorky.
Yeah, but Dirk doesn't look like a professional athlete.
You don't
really.
think so?
Not
Even
really.
with his shape and height.
With the height, maybe, but I don't think he has the physique anymore. He's like 40 something, right? And
Is he?
yeah, he's not on the Tom Brady diet. So
I don't think anyone is, apart from Giselle Bündchen.
well, they both look great. So
It's true, they do.
Chris, what do you keep looking at over there?
Patron chat. Apparently
Oh.
someone broke something, and I'm trying to determine whether or not it was us that broke something, and they can't hear us live.
Or
because-
they're just making reference to our earlier technical difficulties, maybe.
Well, and that could very well be it. It's just that, you had Nexus commenting, only a couple minutes ago, so I don't know what's going on. Anyhow,
Okay.
whatever.
Well, tell us if things are still broken.
Yeah, and if they are, I'll get to them when I get to them. The problem is they can't hear us if things are broken. This is the problem about the live cast. On the recording side, you guys are like, well, what are you guys talking about? It's working fine for me. But anyhow,
This is off the rails, but we're already off the rails.
that's what we do. Matt's not here.
Yeah. Bearded Canuck just posted something funny in the patron chat. Did you guys see this today?
What
The clip
yeah.
from The
episode?
Simpsons.
Yeah,
Did not
Pretty
see
funny.
the episode. Did hear about it.
I didn't see the
though.
episode. No,
I saw the
I want to
clip.
watch it. I like their Canadian episodes, but nice little shot at the Ottawa Senators.
Yeah, why not?
The
It's nice not to be aimed at us, so.
well, has the Simpsons ever referred to really the West Coast?
Well, they did the
mean,
Olympic episode,
Okay,
which was great.
Sure, but beyond that, it's 30 some odd seasons, right? First, I was talking about this. Oh gosh, who was I talking to? Oh yeah, coworkers about how the Simpsons. How has it survived as long as it has?
I know, I don't know anyone that still watches it, honestly, but I would tune in for a special episode, like a Canadian one or something, but.
It's is it the animated version of Saturday Night Live where it can go through peaks and valleys, but it's always going to be on Sunday night on Fox?
Yeah, I guess so.
Where he's like SNL, it's always on Saturday night on NBC. Anyhow, enough of that. Anything else you want to talk about NHL playoffs before we actually talk about Canucks stuff and all sorts of other rumor mongering?
No, not really. I didn't expect Carolina to be 2-0 up in the second round.
No, but Mrazek's injured now, so Curtis McElhinney's no all-star here, so
he's going to carry him to the Stanley Cup final.
Yeah, who knows?
Anything is possible.
Sure. We are going to take a short break and come back with a little Canucks hockey talk.
Take hitting out of the game. You can't hit anymore, so don't do it.
The unsportsmanlike conduct, I want to get an explanation on it.
No kidding.
Because how do you get suspended for unsportsmanlike conduct?
Plus interference. There's no interference there. He had the puck.
Now, Madison never ever did that before. Now, why did he do it? And that because he was mad.
Well, your early favorite for the Calder Trophy, that's for sure. Elias Pettersson, you might even say your early favorite for the Hart Trophy.
Just to get back to your question, Elias is going to play plenty. He's going to get a lot of power play time. And, yeah, I'm concerned about our offense. We lost 200-point players, and we've got to find a way to score.
So why don't we start off by talking about the fact that Mr. Goldobin allegedly was going to be going to the KHL, playing with CKSA or CSKA. What is it? CKSA? That's the Central Red Army is what I know them as.
So there's a huge debate because it's also a football team about whether it's CSKA or CSKA. So
all I know is it's Central Red Army to me.
Yeah.
But rumor had it that he was going to be playing in the KHL, that he had allegedly signed a contract. News was broken by a pretty well-regarded reporter in Russia. And then when local media here in Vancouver started chasing it, Goldobin's new agent, so it's no longer Igor Larionov, his new agent who, I can't remember what the sports organizations, but it's like Donnie Meehan's agency. He had said, no, there was absolutely no truth to this rumor. He's coming back to the Vancouver Canucks, which would also require him to be qualified and sign a contract for him to come to Vancouver. Now, Goldobin signing in the KHL, outside of the fact that I think the Canucks would qualify him just to retain rights, because why not? And then, suspend.
Yeah.
If he were to disappear, is that really the end of the world?
No, and that was kind of going to be my point, is who really cares, because he might not be back anyway.
Yeah.
Right. But I think the fact, if the agent just said, no, that's not true, and left it at that, that would be one thing. But to specifically say he's coming back to Vancouver makes me think that he's not just bluffing. But who knows, and who really, I obviously like Goldobin a lot, and I think he's still got some promise left. I wouldn't want to lose him for nothing, but again, it's not the end of the world.
Yeah, I just don't necessarily want to sit through another season or two of him getting a couple games, then getting benched, then getting a couple games. That doesn't do the Canucks any good, doesn't do him any good, and so if he came back, I'd want him to be given a real shot, I guess.
But even if he wasn't given a real shot, send him down to Utica. If he makes it, great. If he doesn't, oh well.
Yeah, as you say, as Adam says, it's not the end of the world either way, but that's the way I prefer it to go.
Well, the thought was that there was potential for him. There's a potential truth. Plus, it's coming from a relatively credible source. Until the new agent comes out and says, no way, he's coming back to Vancouver. Because why would you change agents, especially with agencies that deal with the NHL as they do, if you didn't expect to want to get paid? It doesn't seem to me that that's something you'd go about
that's
doing.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
To only go and head off to the KHL where, I don't know how that actually works with the KHL. Players essentially are owned by the team or whatever. I think it was Triampkin, for him to leave, he'd have to pay out his contract, his own contract. So it's so crazy.
It is different, yeah. It sounds similar to how football works. It's way more individual player driven than team driven.
So anyhow, yeah, that was the exciting news in Canuckland was, oh my God, Goldobin, let's fire up that news cycle.
Yeah, it is kind of, slow news time right now.
It's slow news time. Like, who's to say they didn't explore the option of going into the KHL? Like,
yeah.
You'd kind of be dumb not to in his position.
Well, yeah, if he wants to play.
And it's also leverage, right? So, potentially.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, but, if he's, I'm going to go to the KHL, it's like, the Canucks are going to be like, oh my God, really? Like, I to be honest, I don't see how much leverage you get outside of the fact that, if I want to play, that's the league I probably would need to go to. There's no guarantee he sees NHL.
Yeah, it is like a final kind of card to play.
Yeah. Anywho, enough about a Goldobin. Thatcher Demko, he got re-upped for 2 years. Now, the actual contract AAV is like $1.05 million, so over 2 years. But he's actually getting a pay cut for next year, and then a pay bump for the year after. So his base salary for his rookie contract was $925,000. Well, not base, but like his actual salary, signing bonus, and all that jazz. It was a performance bonus laden contract. However, he also had a two-way contract, being its entry level. He is now on a one-way contract that in the first year is like $900,000, and in the second year it's like 1.5 or whatever.
05, I think. Yeah.
Well, 1.05 is the average.
Oh, I see.
Right. So
whatever.
I
don't do maths.
No, I mean, we were told there would never be any math, but it's kind of neat that you look at it. He took a pay cut for 1 year. Like I don't quite understand the math there outside of that. Is that the Canucks saying, hey, Thatcher, we need a few $100,000 to move things around, make magic happen, but we'll give it back to you? Like,
yeah, I don't. Who knows why? There might be some reason like that. They don't need the extra $100,000 or $200,000 this year, obviously. But it's $1.2 million in year two, $900,000 in year one. Like, so that $300,000 shift. Like, what? It's cash. It's not cap, right? So,
I wouldn't. Yeah.
Okay, but I think know. How do you feel about the contract itself?
At being 2 years at that price, or just 2 years?
Either. Tell me your feelings about the contract.
The price is fine in my mind, right? Like we're talking essentially about $1 million contract, so that's fine. 2 years is fine, but. You think about the fact that expansion is going to, like, the expansion draft will happen when this contract is coming due. Mm-hmm. So, like, if I'm the Vancouver Canucks, would I not have wanted to have already had him one more year, like have a 3-year deal? Or is it that I only want to have a 2-year? Like, it seems odd to me that they have him on 2. I know that they still retain his rights, but they've introduced an additional variable. He's an RFA who is going to be going into sort of contract-free status, so to speak, into an expansion draft year where you arguably have only one goaltender under contract.
Which would be him.
Yeah, because Markstrom...
I think in that sense they've played it well because and I know we'll get into Markstrom maybe later, but if Markstrom's contract is off the books, either through trade or you don't sign him or whatever, it gives you that chance to protect Demko freely, really. Like, there's not much of a choice to it. And if you wanted to lock him down for more than 2 years, you would have to pay him a lot more already. So I think the fact that they got him so cheap meant they could only get him for 2 years. See what happens with Markstrom this year. It'll probably be like a 50-30 split game-wise, Markstrom to Demko. And then if he plays well, if he looks like he can handle it, then, peace be with you, Markstrom, as you would say, Chris.
Yeah, I guess that's a big if, like, if we can make a choice in a year's time. Like, I don't know if enough will change in a year that will show us.
Right. Yeah, I mean, like, if the Canucks are this bad again next year, and you have Markstrom playing as well, or roughly around as well as he did this year, then... wouldn't it make sense to see if you can flip him for a team who needs goaltending depth at the deadline and get an asset back for him?
Flip Markstrom?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and then you have Demko for another year at a cheap deal. See what he can do. Protect him. No worries. Bada bing, bada boom.
Yeah.
And the variable in the goaltending discussion is the fact that Markstrom is going into his last year of his contract. He's 3.667 million or whatever it is cap hit. He's done enough, at least based on the play of last year, to deserve a decent raise. And if you're the Vancouver Canucks, I think, you're in this position where you need to make decisions as to the future of your goaltending situation. You've got do you bring Markstrom back? If you do bring Markstrom back, you're kind of saying Demko is not ready, which is fine.
You know what? I don't think he may not necessarily be, but I don't think that means you need to bring Markstrom back.
Yeah, I think
I'm okay with another year of us sucking and Demko not quite being there, because I don't think in 2 years, a year from now, we're going to be Stanley Cup contenders. So I don't think we need to be ready for that necessarily.
But I think the direction that the organization is, silently indicating they're going in is we're a playoff team. I can't see them, if they don't think Demko's ready, not looking to have a Markstrom or equivalent in place to ensure that they have the goaltending they need to be a playoff team, not just a playoff contender. I think they look at themselves this year as a playoff contender, save for injury.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, do they say that do you think they actually truly believe that? Or do they say that to keep season ticket?
Well, okay, it's a fair point. I honestly think they may, at least some in the organization, believe it.
Yeah.
I
think they think they're closer than they really are.
Right. You look at the play of Pettersson, you look at the fact that Besser, performed really well. Bo Horvat, quitted himself well. They've been trumpeting the core, and then oh my God, Hughes was lights out in the 4 or 5 games he played. So yeah, playoff team right here. There's no one in this room that would say that they're a playoff team. I mean, I could arguably see them maybe being a playoff contender, the fringe team fighting out the end of the season next year. All things go their way. You know what? Why not to say that? But the fact that they're a playoff team is far, it's a season or two at least.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a tricky thing because you feel like ownership's goal is to reach the playoffs in a year.
Playoff gate is a lucrative amount of cash.
But that's not my goal. I want to win the cup. I don't care if we make the playoffs in a year or we make it in 3 years.
Yeah, how much is 3 games worth of playoff revenue in the grand scheme of things?
Worth to the city.
Well, it's city, whatever.
No,
to
but
the team.
to the ownership.
Yeah, you got ultimately it's ownership bonus, right? That playoff gate is money that they don't have to pay the players. So if you are running your business, that's a nice margin you're getting. You want that money, even if it's only 2 games. That's 2 games of cash that you can use to, pay for the fact that you paid Tortorella to go away, Mike Gillis to go away. You're paying Roberto Luongo to go away. There's all of this money you're paying people to go away with. You know what? The playoff revenue covers that, whatever, not the end of the day. I don't know how ownership feels, but it seems that they're, hell, you just read Frankie's, letter to the season ticket holders.
Yeah.
Sure, he was spitting optimism, but it sounded like an owner's we're on the right path. We've been talking about the right path all along, and the path is the playoffs.
Yeah, I mean, it literally said nothing, that letter.
Which means it was good PR.
Yeah.
So, Markstrom.
I think you don't sign him before the season starts. You wait till the end of the year and then go from there.
So
yeah, because we should be, especially if he's playing as well as he's been playing this year, we should be exploring those trade options and being don't you want a goaltender like Markstrom to help you to a cup?
See, this is the thing. I agree. Maybe not signing him until the season begins. I don't think there's a rush to go and sign Markstrom to a contract right now. But the longer the season goes on, if Markstrom continues to play as well as he did, the leverage the Canucks have about, hey, you used to be crap, kind of starts to shrink. And, from a management perspective, when it comes to money, he's able to get more in the market. But if I'm the Vancouver Canucks, would I be too concerned if I were to sign him a contract and then flip him for, like, if you get a reasonable number and he plays lights out, I wonder if there aren't teams out there that wouldn't go and say, hey, you know what?
I think teams would be much more willing to take him on as a rental for a cheaper price and then go from there.
Okay.
Then tie your horse to Markstrom.
Sure, and I have to concede the goaltender market isn't one that's constantly in flux. You're right. Goaltenders have to get seriously injured, or have a Philadelphia Flyers situation where they have to pretty much dress every goaltender, including 6 equipment managers. Right. So speaking of which, Mike McKenna, that era in the Vancouver Canucks is just short-lived but everlasting. What else did we want to talk about? Troy from Richmond got a phone call. He's going to be representing Team Canada in the World Hockey Championships.
Good for Troy.
I like Troy from Richmond.
Who doesn't?
Yeah, I mean, like, that's a great story. Undersized defenseman playing in his hometown team and who struggled at the beginning, and now he's really showing his mettle, I guess. So for me, I don't think
maybe at the end of the tournament he'll be showing his medal.
I see what you did there.
I was leaving a silence for Tumbleweed, but I for me, I'm never gonna understand what it means to play for your country. I have a very complicated relationship with nationality. I would never. It's not a feeling I'll ever identify with, but I appreciate for players that it's important for them.
I'm really happy for Troy because I know it is a big deal to some of these, next tier guys. But I can't say I'm going to watch any of the tournament.
No? Well, where is it this year?
I have no idea. I
think it's Sweden.
Never pay attention to this.
I think it's Sweden. Anyhow, if we were live in Patron Studio right now, I could ask our patrons to look that up and Google it for us, but apparently we're not. So we're going to take a short, unplanned break, and we will reconvene shortly in a second.
All right, we're back. Chris talks too much, so he passed the torch over to me to bring us back in from break. It's pretty fun, pretty exciting.
I don't like it. I feel weird.
Anyway, we're going to talk very briefly about the Calder.
Calder. I think that's how you say it. Calder.
Is that how he said it?
Calder.
Yeah, 5 times.
Calder. I don't know. It was gross.
It was Calder, and we're like, Calder? Calder. It's as if he wanted to correct you from saying tomato when you say tomato.
But he was saying I am.
Guy.
He's like, we're saying it's Calder, man. And he was like, I know, I'm saying Calder.
I'm saying Calder.
It's kind of like the Simpsons episode where Marge is trying to get a coffee down in Australia, and she's like, I'd like a coffee. And he's like, beer? She's like, no, coffee. He's like, oh, yeah, beer. Coffee. Beer. That's pretty much it.
Well, or every time I go into a restaurant and ask for water.
Water.
Do they all make fun of you and say it back to you?
I say, when I'm in a restaurant, I now say water, because...
Water?
I'm done having the argument. I just
What do I say? Water.
Water.
Yeah.
Water. How long have you been in this country, and why do you still sound different?
4 years.
Okay, so what do you call it?
How would I originally say it?
Yeah, if you're back home, water. That's very nice. I like that. What do you try to say when you're here?
I just tighten it up a bit, so it's a hard.
Why, do people not understand you?
Yes.
That's on them. That's not on you.
No, but seriously, every single restaurant.
Water.
Every single bar. And it's just use context. Anyway.
No,
no, it's still on this.
This word, though, it sounds like water. If you're like, okay, no problem, I don't...
You would just think in the context of being in a bar or restaurant, you would understand.
Maybe it's some, fancy craft beer that you're ordering.
I do like fancy craft beer, it's true.
Mm-hmm. Anyhow, the Calder nominees.
Yeah, so finally the nominations came out. Rasmus Dahlin, Jordan Binnington, and, of course, Elias Pettersson. I don't think we need to spend too much time on this because I know how we all feel about it.
Yeah, Binnington all the way.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, okay, one question.
101 games does not make a season.
Yes, exactly.
One swallow
does
not
to
make
lose.
a summer.
Do you think Miro Heiskanen maybe should have been nominated over, Jordan Binnington or Rasmus Dahlin?
Who was that? Was it Tyler Sagan who tweeted about that?
Sagan or Ben, yeah.
Yeah, who tweeted a confused emoji.
Yeah, I think he should have gotten the nod over Binnington.
Yeah, sure. But Binnington's just a bigger story, unfortunately.
Binnington was drafted the year the Canucks went to the Cup final. It's been a while since he's been eligible to win Rookie of the Year. So
I mean, sorry to go off the rails a bit, but was it today?
why do we apologize for that anymore?
Yeah, I don't know. Matt's not here, so it was the PFA Player of the Year awards in football, and Raheem Sterling won the Young Player of the Year because he's under 23 technically when the season started.
Sorry, Sterling won it?
Yeah.
He's got how many seasons
So he's
now?
in his like 4th or 5th season.
Yeah.
So
they need to reel it in. I think it should be maybe first 3 years.
Yeah.
Of eligible, like if your first
Even that's a
contract,
stretch.
right?
Right.
Or like within 3 years of signing. I don't know.
But like, yeah, Biddington technically is eligible, but
Yeah.
should he really
He also
be
shouldn't be
nominated?
eligible because he only played 31 games.
Yeah. Agreed.
But the argument is with a goaltender, there is a good chance they play less. Like,
Okay, yeah, sure, they're not. But a starting goaltender plays 60 games.
Like, okay,
roughly.
they should be playing over half. No.
Okay,
Yeah.
you know what? If it was like 40 some odd games, yeah, you know what? Then,
I'd have no issue
Yeah,
with
because
it.
you're right.
Yeah.
That's over half or half. Like that's where you have like the.
And he had
you
a
know-
great half season, and took the Blues. He's a big part of the reason the Blues went from worst to first, or not first, but you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Bottom to where they are now. But come on, let's be real here.
Hey, Don Cherry thinks Bennington should win it.
Don Cherry thinks a lot of things.
Yeah. Let's not take him as a measure for anything.
Yeah.
You wonder? Do you think Don Cherry gets a vote? Because it's the press. It's the press
I was
writers.
thinking like national elections.
No, yeah, he does.
Yeah,
He goes up.
unfortunately, yeah, I think he still
vote
does.
for Don. No, it's is it the Is it PWHA?
Yeah, Professional
Oh,
Hockey Writers
Yeah.
Association.
Yeah. Maybe, I don't know. Does he write? Who knows?
I don't know. I mean, I'm just genuinely
Can he
curious.
write? Who knows?
Oh, come on.
Do you think?
Don should have retired seasons ago.
Yes.
Yes.
Do you think Brian Burke replaces him?
But I don't know. Like Brian.
what kind
Brian
of
and who?
replacement is that?
No,
Dinosaur for dinosaur.
The fact that we're talking about Don Cherry right now means CBC is happy. Right?
Yeah.
Love him or hate him, as long as you're talking about him and you're continuing to tune in.
I know, that's what makes me mad, but it's just like watching him because he's on. It's just like, yeah, that's what makes me mad about TV executives when they put on like extreme right-wing people on
they
mainstream
put
political programs. It's
terrible
just like,
things on just because they can. Like people are going to watch it because it's in between periods. But
And there are still a fair number of people who listen to Don Cherry and go, "That away, Don. You tell them how it is."
do you remember in like 2004 when they did Greatest Canadian and he was like 4th greatest Canadian of all time or something?
It's like, I know it's underpopulated as a country, but come on, guys.
Yeah, it was insane.
Anyhow, enough of Don Cherry. Back to Brian Burke. Brian Burke and Ron McLean, I don't think that combo works. I think Ron McLean and Don Cherry work.
Well, that's because he's Don Cherry's babysitter.
Correct.
Right. Okay, so then who's
But
on?
that's the thing is, I'm curious. Like, this is not a knock against Ron. I just don't think Ron and Brian would start like it would be
I
awkward.
wouldn't have either of them on. So
Well, you can't. You don't get to choose. And
No, it's
they're
true,
not. They're not
exactly.
going to go and put Elliot Friedman, who you also hate, into that seat.
I don't hate him.
You
I
hate-
just,
like,
I
she's-
just think
she
he's
said
a way
this.
better writer and journalist than he is a broadcaster.
All she wants is Dan Murphy to get that seat so she can
No.
Like googly
slide
eyes?
into his DMs.
Oh, Dan. Oh, Dan.
Oh my god! Thanks for that.
We're picking on you. I'm sorry. Who do you think goes into that seat? If it's not Don Cherry, because I agree. I say Don Cherry should retire. I think, Adam, you're like, Don Cherry, he's past his prime. Anna, you say Don Cherry should have never existed.
No, everyone has like an old racist grandpa. They just don't have to be on national television.
Okay. So, who replaces your grandpa?
I honestly don't know. I don't think anyone that I would be interested in would have enough of an audience or a like brand. I don't know.
Well, and that's like,
I like a lot of younger reporters maybe that are up and coming. That's not me trying to be hipster or anything. I'm just like saying that they want like the biggest names. It's Hockey Night in Canada. Like they need.
well, they want someone who's able to piss people off.
And yeah, exactly. And they want someone who like has been involved in the game. They're not that interested in reporters.
Yeah.
Epic. I don't know how to say it.
Epictetus?
Is that how you say it?
That's how I say it.
All right. Anyway, he says, I know it's not the right network, but Ray Ferraro deserves that.
Yes.
I love Ray.
I love Ray Ferraro.
But yeah, it's the wrong network. And TSN re-upped him for like 1,000 years.
Yeah, I know. But Ray is one of, if not the best in the biz. He's awesome. I love him.
Yeah, and I think as like charming and as he is, I think he's kind of wasted as a host. Like, I think he's like has so much to give as more of a pundit in the studio role.
He's great between the benches and
like
stuff
he
like
is
that, right?
great, but he doesn't get to say as much. It's like as much as I love Dan Murphy, he excels in that role because that's what he's good at. Like he can do both, but like I think Ray Ferraro is so smart and he's personable, and I love listening to him.
Best 1040 morning show had Ray Ferraro on it.
Yeah.
Hands down. Like that's when I started tuning in every morning to listen, because Ray could talk about hockey, and he was very opinionated. He backed things up. He took, crap from no one. But he could also hold his own in a conversation about sports in general and would admit, like, hey, this is not a sport I'm familiar with. Tell me more. He'd ask actually questions to learn, and then it was just
and boy,
great.
can he call a game as well. Like, multi-talented dude. So I was watching, when my mum was here, I was watching a bit of playoff hockey with her, and she was just like, she heard a voice. She was like, oh, is that the guy we had during the talks? She came to Puck Talks ages ago, and she was like, yeah, that guy was really smart. And she doesn't know anything about hockey, but, like, he engaged her.
We never got to meet Mama Forsythe.
No.
By design, probably.
Yeah, totally, right?
Yeah.
Anyhow, so Pettersson has to win the Calder, right?
He will.
He will.
I think
no
he
doubt.
will.
Yeah,
but I mean, it's not very exciting if you just have one guy that's going to win it. So you've got to make
stir up the
conversation.
drama.
Yeah. So this is the NHL, stirring the pot. You say, is that it? Did I hear that correctly? Anywho, what else did we want to talk about in this
Jannik
rundown?
Jannik Hansen.
Gosh, yeah, the Honey Badger hung him up.
Yeah.
Jannik wasn't that bad when the Canucks traded him.
No.
But he got that bad that quick.
I mean,
fell off a cliff.
Yeah.
Look at Burrows. Like, didn't do too
well.
but
I think Burr, you could look at him and say, he was at the end of his career,
and
he
can see his performances.
Yeah, he was becoming more and more the role player here in Vancouver.
Yeah. Okay.
Right, I think that would be fair to say, but like Jannik Hansen still looked like he had game. San Jose went and acquired him thinking he had game, and is that because Vancouver with the Sedins had a really good ability to take moderate players and make them better? Like, I mean, not to suggest there's a correlation here. I think Yannick's a far better player, but the same thing could be said about Anson Carter, who turned one season with the Sedins into a solid contract, and I don't know what Anson's up to anymore outside of the fact that I think he blocked me on Twitter.
What did you do to deserve that?
Good question. I don't know. There are people who block me on Twitter, and it's like, I don't know what I would have ever said or done.
Because I feel like you're the person that this happens to you the most.
Yeah, well, I could see people blocking, like, Matt, no problem. But he's like, he used to have the check mark, so maybe that's like the get out of jail.
Did he really?
Well, Matt used to.
Oh,
yeah.
wow.
Yeah, he doesn't anymore.
Yeah. How the mighty have fallen.
But yeah, no, like there are people who have blocked me on Twitter. In fact, what's his name? Yeah, he used to be the goaltender for the Vancouver Canucks that got mugged.
Eddie Lack.
No, that got mugged in the. Oh, jeez.
Who got mugged?
You didn't hear the story? That's probably why I got blocked on Twitter. Oh man,
Jason LaBarbera.
No, he went into the NHL Network as a broadcaster. He was like the goaltender of the future here for a while.
How long ago?
Well, it was some time ago. Like, again, I'm a little bit older, but it would have been like
Corey Hirsch.
No.
Okay, I mean, we're just gonna guess.
Yeah. Anyhow,
Golden
this guy has blocked me on Twitter, and I remember I asked about it. I somehow found out because of something someone said or retweeted, and I couldn't see it. And then I had people say, oh, did you ever bring up that incident in the Vancouver lane? Like, I don't know, I might have said, hey, this happened. He's like, oh, yeah, no, he totally searches those terms and blocks people who talk about it. Gosh, what was his name? Anyhow, this is where the patrons...
So you brought up the mugging?
So all I must have done, like, I don't go out and take a Well, actually, Shane O'Brien took piss out of him all the time. But everyone else, I generally don't take shots at people. I mean, it's not my style. I don't go and look to piss anyone off. And yet, yeah, there are people who block me. There's a writer for the NHL who's blocked me for some reason. Sometimes I actually wonder, is it because I'm a Canucks fan?
Important, because I'm very sassy on Twitter. Just like an hour ago. Kevin Weeks, that's who it was. There you go.
That's the power of Google for you.
I literally called Ben Bishop a messy bitch an hour and a half ago. Will that get rid of our...
Yeah, Anna was really... Before you were here, Chris, Anna was really trashing Ben Bishop.
I'm sorry. I just cannot watch him, play it in goal. He could get a shutout and I'd still be mad at him. His style is just so ugly.
Wait.
It's weird.
I read a tweet. Was that from you that talked about this?
That called him a messy bitch?
Well, no, I don't think those were the terms. And the fact that you keep repeating
that. Come on.
Yeah, I've just lost our explicit rating. So.
No kidding. We're gonna plunge our ratings, our stellar ratings in Angola just went into the crapper.
I think we're doing Hansen a bit of a disservice here.
Yeah, sorry. Let's go back.
He deserves some love. He was a great role player for the Canucks for a while.
Is he Ring of Honor material?
No. Alex Burrows is Ring of Honor material.
For sure.
Yannick Hansen does not.
Okay.
But still plaudits, still a honey badger. He had spunk, and he was just that combo of mild-mannered but also really scrappy at the same time.
Yeah, and it was adorable how bad he was on breakaways.
Yeah, Yannick
what a little
Hansen on a
charming
breakaway.
thing. Yeah.
And he knew it.
Yeah.
He accepted that.
That honestly, that video where he tells Cody Hodgson, who is throwing tape at him, that if he hits him, he will knock him out. It's just the funniest, cutest thing.
Do you think Yannick Hansen could knock anyone out?
Yeah.
Including Cody Hodgson?
I think Cody Hodgson was all talk and no trousers.
Well, okay, I'm not suggesting that Cody Hodgson could put up a fight, but Yannick Hansen didn't occur to me to be the knock-him-out type.
He's scrappy.
Scrappy. I'm not. He's the honey badger for a reason, but the knock him out type, no.
Yeah, maybe not.
You know, I wonder. I mean, he would not fit in the team today. It's not as if the trade needed to happen. The Canucks got stuff, right? I mean,
it's a shame, is what it is, because as we said, he kind of fell off a cliff, and sometimes people like Carter just turn a season with the Sardines into a whole career, and sometimes a talented player falls off. Sometimes it's just timing, and it's unfortunate, so it's a shame to see happen, but at least we got a good few years out of him, and I enjoyed watching him.
Let's rumor monger a little bit.
Okay.
So, the Vancouver Canucks are reportedly, at least according to Ed Willis of the Province Sports, talking to Mike Gillis about a return to the organization in the role of president. Now, the reason I threw this in the rundown, one, it's slow, let's talk about stuff, and it's been a while since we rumor mongered, but two, the Canucks actually have some history here of coming back to senior leaders and say, give us another chance. Now, for those of you who are too young to remember, back when the Orca Bay entity came to be. So John McCaw came in as a partner with the Griffiths family, who were extended. McCaw ended up buying the Griffiths family out. He owns the team. He has absolutely no desire to own a sports team. He's essentially a tech mogul in the Seattle area, and this was an investment. He brought in some dude to run the corporate side who used to work in hydro, never in sports. And they came in, did an analysis, and determined Pat Quinn, no longer needed. So they let him go. The problem is they didn't realize that general managers in the NHL just don't grow on trees and you can just go and pick one up off the street, and had no plans to go and do a search. So when they started actually searching, they then discovered how much a GM does in the league, and all of a sudden realized, damn, they do actually a lot, negotiate contracts, player management, personnel, and all this. So they went back to Pat Quinn and said, hey, would you like to come back in an advisory role? Not like GM, but president of hockey ops or something like that. And Pat Quinn said, probably no in many more words that were colorful than that. So, again, why is it that the Vancouver Canucks seemingly have this history of gassing an executive to say, you know what, let's, come back. And if you're Mike Gillis, would you come back to Vancouver when it's likely the ownership group that made the decision to let you go
Yeah, and I also feel like every move they've made has been so anti-Gillis, and they've taken away. It's like a new president coming in, just tearing down everything that last president set up, right? Like,
well, I mean, that's what Trevor essentially did.
Exactly,
Yeah.
And so I mean, like a national president, but also president of hockey operations. It fits. They've just torn down everything Gillis built, and I just don't see it happening.
Yeah. And, like, especially with what happened to Trevor, like, I wouldn't have much confidence going into that organization, given how Trevor kind of got sold down the river. And, kind of did. Like, yeah, what would have changed since he left that would give him confidence to come back?
Well, the weird thing for me is if you're Mike Gillis, why would you even pick up the phone, right? Like, this is the family that let you go. They gave you 1 year to go and prove whether or not you should stick around. For all intents, got you a coach that you didn't necessarily want, and then decided, peace be with you, we're going in a different direction. Hey, Trev. Now, maybe the Aquilinians are like, whoa, like Mikey G was on to stuff here, man. Let's get him back. He was bringing us to the glory days, all sorts of, fun things that made us a better team. And I could see them maybe, it's like, to use an analogy, it's kind of like breaking up with the girl you know for the girl you don't, only to realize that she wasn't really what you thought she was, and you miss and want to get back. Not that, anyone's ever done that before.
I was going to say, you're talking to Adam here. You're, like, presupposing that he's had two girls to choose between.
Wow. You're going to sit here and take that from her?
It's her birthday. Let her have this one.
There we go. Yeah.
Also, how dare you insinuate that I would ever be unfaithful?
Oh,
I'm not saying unfaithful. Yeah, I was simply saying that you do the right thing. You're like, you know what? Let's break up. Things aren't right, whatever. You start dating someone else.
I see what you're saying.
And then you're like, whoa, I made a mistake. Let's, rewind.
In grade 7.
Okay. Yeah. So you know what I mean, right? Like, it's just
sorry, Sam. She's married now, so it's fine.
It's all good. Does she listen to the podcast?
I highly doubt it. She's an Oilers fan.
Oh, well, jeez.
Chris, he did the right thing.
Yeah, no kidding. So, Mike Gillis, like, is there a world that Mike Gillis comes back to Vancouver? Because if he does, and to your point, Anna, I think he goes and he snaps his fingers and undoes everything that Trevor Linden did.
Let's keep this a spoiler-free episode. Well,
is that a Game of Thrones reference?
No, it's not a Game of Thrones reference, but we can't go into this rabbit hole, and there's probably patrons who might be getting a little upset.
Okay.
Yeah. Anyway, if he does, like, I could see him coming back in some sort of consulting role or some sort of, like, unofficial capacity. Mm-hmm. Maybe. That's the only way I could see it happening, other than them giving him all the power, in which case, again, like you said, he
undoes stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, I definitely believe the story that the Canucks approached him to come back. Do you hear that?
Oh, yeah, same.
That they, like, had to be told to stop calling Lombardi? Did you hear that?
Well, yeah, the Lombardi one was weird. I didn't know what to
I'm not
make of
sure what's happened there, but then I was just like,
well, what's interesting is
if true.
Francesco and Twitter had to go and actually publicly say there is no truth to this Lombardi rumor, but he hasn't been saying there's no truth to anything else. So.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Weird.
It's like the death blow is when your, like, ownership group says they have full confidence in you.
Yeah. Full confidence, which means in C4 parlance, no confidence.
We should bring that back. That was fun.
Yeah, we can do that come free agency and stuff like that.
Yes, perfect.
Anywho.
Or start of the season.
So, Matt's going to be back for the next episode.
Which is in
2 weeks. That's right.
We're taking a break.
Yeah, it's our first 2-week break.
That's right. So, for those of you who are tuning in for the very first time, historically, we would shut this sucker down until this Canucks season were to fire back up. That's not going to be the case anymore. We're going to be transitioning as of May into a 2-week recording schedule. So this is the last episode you hear for 2 weeks. You'll want to tune in 2 weeks from now and then 2 weeks from then and so on and so forth. There is, I think, going to be one variation because of holidays, but we'll obviously communicate that as we get closer. The other thing to look forward to is the fact that in Discord, we're always talking hockey. So if you don't already belong to the C4 Canucks Hockey Podcast Discord group, the easiest way to join is go to bit.ly/C4 Discord, all caps, so capital C, a 4, and then Discord, DISCORD. But any final words of wisdom for our thousands and thousands of listeners, or the 3 students from Adam's class that listen in there, Anna?
Do your homework. But also, Adam's a pushover. You can get away with stuff.
It's true. I let far too much go.
Do they call you Mr. Ovenel Carter?
No, just Adam.
Oh, then you're not a real teacher.
Hey, it's only first names at the school.
Really?
Yeah.
Really? Like all teachers?
All teachers.
Oh my god. This is too hipster. This is too West Coast. I can't handle it.
Yeah, it's pretty West Coast. West Coast private school.
No kidding. Like all first names. That's nuts.
Yeah.
Like I didn't get to the first name basis with any real teacher until I hit college.
Yeah.
And then it was like Frank, Tracy, Bob. Like I actually, to the point that I don't remember all of their last names.
It is a meme, I guess, these days. You see kids going around calling their teachers by their first names and making them uncomfortable. So we just get rid of that.
Huh. Interesting. Huh. Anything else you'd like to add there, Mr. Ovenel Carter?
Yes. Just want to hope Killer Sushi, if you're still listening, I hope that your kid did well at their tournament and that you won your game that you were going to the second day. So.
Aw.
How nice.
Yeah.
As for
Such
me,
a pushover.
As for me, I thank you for tuning in as always. Apologies for the 2-week break, but it is much needed. Plus, hey guys, I'm going on a cruise. I'm going up to Alaska, so peace be with me. Hopefully, you don't see me on CNN getting like helicoptered off the cruise ship.
Yeah, I was going to say, wasn't there that crazy cruise ship incident
that
a couple
was
weeks ago?
That was in like Norway, and it was like it's a river cruise line.
We've had some wind these days.
This is true. This is true. But I mean, these things are like giant corks in a bowl of water. I mean, they just bounce up and down.
Don't get eaten
by like what? Bears?
Bears, blue whales. Like
okay, I'll try.
Do blue whales go that north?
Well, not that time of year, and probably not to that part of Alaska. I mean, I imagine they're in the Pacific somewhere.
What else is that then?
In
what
Alaska?
Are you gonna see?
Orcas.
Well, hopefully when I get
orcas are vicious.
Hopefully when I get to Alaska, I'll be able to see Russia from their backyard.
That's true.
Anyhow, on behalf of the Missing in Action, Matt Lee at @MattLee_61, Anna at Anna Forsyth at A403. I always mess this up. You got to like change your name, make it easier on me. Adam Ovenel Carter at Adam OVLC, and myself, Chris Golden at Light Force. I am signing off the C4 Podcast, which you can find on Twitter at the C4 Podcast, on Facebook is facebook.com/C4 Podcast. You're listening to us on CanucksHockeyBlog.com as well as Overtime Media. I'm trying to like
just roll through it.
Guys, you're gonna just need to like slow it down.
Yeah, because
half speed.
podcast,
at
you
that
can
point.
do it like half speed, right?
Yeah,
you can. That's why I totally go up and down.
Okay.
Change my
Sorry to
pace.
interrupt.
Anyhow, no problem. You've totally ruined it. So guess what? We're out.